You got questions, we've got answers. Just ask Kenan. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Kenan here, and it's time for another Ask Kamp Kenan question. These are submitted by our Patreon supporters, and if you'd like to get a question answered here on the YouTube channel, you just have to go to patreon.com/Kamp Kenan, become a Patreon supporter, and I'll be able to see your questions and answer them for you. Now, today's question is actually a bit of a sad one, to be perfectly honest. It comes from Peter Williams, and I'm going to paraphrase, which means I don't have the question verbatim in my head. I just, because it's such a sad one, I think I can answer it though. But basically what it talks about is when you lose a pet. Peter had two 10-year-old Sulcata Tortoises. We're actually out in my Sulcata Tortoise pen now, and I realized I have to keep moving this stuff. I forgot to put it away. But anyhow, he had two Sulcata Tortoises, and those tortoises died in a fire in his greenhouse. So they both died tragically before their time. And he was asking me, have I ever had something like that happen? And how do I cope with it? Because him and his dad really loved those animals. So, wow, that's kind of a complete bummer. And I know it's a horrible thing when you lose a pet and you love a pet. But you got to remember, without getting too philosophical, life is temporary here, And I have, of course, had things happen. I don't know if the fire was your fault, if it was human error, or if it was a short, but things do happen, and these tragedies will continue to happen. It's kind of a bummer because all of us love our animals so much. Here at Kamp Kenan, I have about 150 different animals, closer to 200 different animals, like the Sulcata Tortoises, and I love them. And within these group of animals that I have, there are some that I've come to really know and love in a big way. Now, I love everyone, but let's be real. With 200 animals, you're not going to know everyone's name, and you're not going to be able to give every one of these animals a name. But this guy's Lumpy. Now, I've had Lumpy for a long time. He came here in 2004, and he was given to me by a very, very close friend's father. And the reason he's special to me is because I was very close with that family growing up. And I was very close with their daughter, Dawn. And sadly, Dawn passed away. And it was a huge loss for me in my world. And that's why this tortoise, Lumpy here, is so special. Because I really enjoyed her father. He was a good man to me when I was growing up and always fixed my car when I didn't have any money to get it fixed. He was an amazing mechanic, and he always took care of me. So this animal has a lot of significance, and I just love him because he's grown up so large. But it's kind of fitting that we talk about loss, because our animals in many ways teach us how we're going to react when we lose loved ones, whether they're human or animal. And it's such a sad thing when we make a mistake and we lose one of our animals. It's a sad thing also when we lose people we love. But animals and keeping them teach young people. I don't know how old you are, Peter, but I'm imagining that you might be fairly young if you're still hanging out and living at home with Dad. These animals, they teach us so much, how to be compassionate, how to love something, and in some cases they can't really love you back, right? So you have to learn how to be compassionate. So when they die before their time, it is always tragic. I'm always bummed out. But you always have to realize that we're only here for a short period of time. Even tortoises that live for possibly over 100 years. And the thing is, you have to reflect on what you did for the animals when you were here, how well you treated them. This sounds like it was a freak occurrence. I've had animals that have died because I've made mistakes, straight up. I've had animals, as you guys know, that have escaped, and that really sucks. When I lost the fly river turtle, I really, really felt like a part of me was gone. And it's a strange thing because I know what's going on this whole property. Each and every one of these animals is under my care, and I do the best I can. When I have animals that just die, I realize that I can't just be everywhere or do everything for them. So you're going to come across death when you keep animals. It's just a fact of life, and it's a fact of keeping animals. So it's important to understand that. Now, I'm a grown man. I've had many years on earth so far, 43 to be exact, And you know, I've lost people, I've lost animals, but you have to stay strong and you have to continue on the mission to give these animals a great life. And then if you lose loved ones that are humans, of course, you know, you have to live on for them, because they would want you to do the best you can out of your life. You of course grieve for them. It's okay to be sad, it's okay to be bummed out, but eventually you're gonna have to get right back up, and you're gonna have to always remember the good times you've had with those folks, and you're gonna always have to remember the good things you did together. And that's the truth about being a good human being and being a well-adjusted human being going forth in the world and living your life. Now, to answer your question and also about different animals, a few things come to mind. I lost a big sulcata named Zeus while I was away in Australia, and that was another big bummer because he was such a big and beautiful tortoise. I still have his shell, and you know, it sounds a little odd, but you know, I like that I at least have a part of him to remember him by. I also lost one of my rhino iguanas a few years ago, Azul. She was gorgeous, and I actually kept her body, and I'm gonna actually have her skeleton reassembled, which, you know, is kind of interesting to me. I know it sounds strange and macabre, but sometimes, you know, the animals are just so special to you, you don't want to lose them all the way. So, you know, that's just one of the things. We're actually now standing in the Aldabra and Galop pen, and I love these guys so much. And Nostradamus, as I often say, is like my favorite tortoise. I don't know what I'd do if I lost Nostradamus. Just such a cool tortoise. I've been raising him up since I moved here to Florida in 2004. And I actually bought Nostradamus, who's over here. I bought Nostradamus as a group, with another tortoise. And I had the other tortoise for about a year, but sadly, that tortoise got pneumonia and died on me. So Nostradamus was left all alone. He's the only Aldabra I have. So that was a bummer too. But again, guys, just to reiterate, you know, Pete, if you're out there watching, buddy, I really hope that you can get through it and understand that even if it was human error that caused the fire, you have to understand that you did the best possible thing by loving those animals and giving them a good home. And I don't want you to be afraid to love something else or try again with another group of animals. It's very important. When I was your age, I don't know how old you are, but when I was very young, I didn't know much about the animals. There wasn't a lot of literature on the animals or a lot of knowledge. There was no YouTube with people that shared information. So it was harder for me to understand or learn how to care for these animals, and I made so many mistakes. And that's why I'm so passionate about the Kamp Kenan shows here on YouTube, because I feel that you guys can learn a little bit from me and take it and go even further and give more good, happy lives to animals out there in captivity. So that's what I would say. I hope it's answered your question. It's a little bit of I wouldn't say a bummer of a question. It's a sad thing to go through loss, through death, but I also think there's an opportunity to learn something, because life's always giving you lessons, and you have to take those lessons, learn from them, and get right back up, and you got to keep living. So I hope you get some more tortoises that you and your dad can bond over and help raise and grow up, and I hope you get past your loss soon. The best way to cope is to feel the feels, and then one day you're going to get on up and you're going to be okay. So just be brave. Be brave to be sad. Do you understand? All right, everyone. Well, I hope you guys like this episode, and I hope you love the tortoises. Looks like Nostradamus is just kind of hanging out here. Sorry to leave on such a sad note, but let's get happier. How about a little view of Socrates right there hanging on out? So there you have it, everybody. Socrates, Nostradamus, another Patreon question answered, and I hope that you guys are having fun out there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also to the Kamp Kenan Army channel. If you guys are interested in learning more about the animals, we have videos on Sunday and Monday. So thanks a lot, everybody. I hope you have a good day. I'm out of here.